Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. Oh, wait, let me do the slash wave. Oh, God. Oh, I don't feel very good right now. This is going to be a very hard video to record. I'm doing it live. We're going to spin up, a video section, like, in just a few seconds here, really. We'll do, like, a Q&A, a community back and forth bit. I'm actually a bit nervous right now. I'm nervous for two reasons. One, I have to be careful about what I say because of, like, NDAs. Two, I'm like the bringer of bad news. Okay, so, for anyone off in the future, you can probably tell from the title of the video, there was a big announcement today, Guild Wars Reforged. So I'm going to throw the intro over. Hello to everybody in the live chat, first of all. I've grabbed some screenshots from you all. And I will be putting your live messages right here, right now, on screen in just a second. Okay? So here we go, all right? And hopefully I do well with this. We're doing it live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video. Big announcement today. Very big announcement. Huge announcement. In fact, what I think we all hope to be the biggest announcement of recent years, especially if you're a jaded Guild Wars 2 player that, you know, you fell off the Guild Wars 2 bandwagon at some point. Well, Arenanet have got something for you today. Today they just announced Guild Wars Reforged. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what they've announced, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my take. Now, I have asked if I have permission to do this. I can tell you guys... I listened to the devs a little while ago talk about this, and I actually asked a question or two to them as well. So I know a little bit about Reforged, and, well, it's an interesting project. So what I'm going to do here, guys, we've got a blog post to go through, and what we've also got is, so by the way, I'm at the Zaisha Menagerie here. We've also got a trailer, so I'm just going to throw the trailer up right here, right now. Let's watch it. This is the Reforged trailer. It's really quite short. The last day dawns on the Kingdom of Ascon. So there you go. So Guild Wars Reforged. Quick little trailer. A trailer you'll notice is like 90% what we've actually seen before. It's the original Prophecies trailer. I think they might have got the original master and upscaled it. If you guys remember, years ago, I used like Waifu 2X and a tool to up-res that trailer and actually got really, really good results from it. So it looks like they've done sort of a more native version of it. It's coming out very soon. Big and prominent there on the main screen is Steam Deck Verified. Which may be familiar to you guys a little bit if you've been following the patch notes of Guild Wars 1 over the past few years, and I know many of you haven't. But yeah, so it's a very exciting project. It's a really exciting idea. You know, I'm a huge Guild Wars fan. For those out of the loop, Guild Wars 1 development basically, went onto a slow drip. Content drops completely disappeared years ago. As of about 2 years ago, they did put, a dev on it who's been doing various updates. They've done engine updates over the years, some of them to reasonable fanfare. Remember, they did a long-distance update and some rendering and graphics improvements a few years ago, which I covered and everyone was really excited about. Basically, there are a lot of people out there, myself included, who are really thirsty and really excited for more Guild Wars 1 content. I want that, not just as a Guild Wars 1 fan. Actually, this year I was playing a lot of Guild Wars 1, and I got, like, all of the titles in the game complete on my main. I want more to do as a fan, but I also think it would just be a really, really powerful and important thing to telegraph to people, hey, we at Arenanet can support more than one product. So when they eventually do like a Guild Wars 3 announcement or, you know, another live service game, another MMO by whatever name, people will trust that Guild Wars 2 will continue. We don't have to abandon the old projects. We can have the old ones going. Having in-tandem development for all these products is really exciting to me. We live in the modern world where WoW Classic is a thing, old school RuneScape is a thing. Why can't Guild Wars 1 continue? It's a very different genre to the sequel. A lot of people really want it. So finally today, we get a big announcement! Oh, it's exciting. So here, I just want to show you guys some of your comments and, you know, really just get into the mindset of the community here today. This is from channel WW10D. Heck yes, 20 years of winning. The real Chim Shady. We are so back in all caps. I more or less fell off my chair when I saw this news. I'm cautiously quite optimistic. It's happening! I remember 2012, watching your commentary for the first time, and here we are. Wow. Most hype stream of WP ever. Guild Wars 1 Classic Plus? What? This is on the official trailer here, all caps. Is this what they were cooking? A remaster Guild Wars 1? Omg? I die of joy, says Felix. So people are thrilled. I'm here to tell you guys, this is not a remaster, okay? I feel really awkward and weird about this video. Because I think we're all running away with it a little bit. And I want it to be a remaster. I want it to be really big and exciting. Personally, guys, and I don't want to take a hype moment for Guild Wars and be a Debbie Downer, okay? But this is not, I think, actually that exciting. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the blog post, and we'll talk about what they've actually revealed. Now, as we read through this information, what I want you guys to do is to look for the word remaster, just first of all, okay? So here we go. This year, we've been grateful to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the launch of Guild Wars Prophecies, and the start of the Guild Wars franchise. Spurred on by the wonderful community response to our April anniversary celebration, we're excited to announce Guild Wars Reforged, which will be available on December 3rd. Reforging a legend. We believe that even with all the advancements and innovations of the last 2 decades, Guild Wars has a lot to offer. Now, that's really heartening to me. I love to hear that. An enchanted world full of limitless adventure, a deep and flexible skill-based combat system, which is distinct to the Guild Wars 2 action-oriented system. An enchanted world, PvE and PvP challenges of all types and more. Reforged begins with a series of updates to Guild Wars that will be completely free to existing players and to make it easier than ever for new players to experience it all firsthand. To make this project possible, we've partnered up with 2 Weeks. Now, I don't know about you guys. I've never heard of 2 Weeks before. I don't know what they do. I know that in modern gaming there is a lot of contracting of third parties. But 2 Weeks is a small team that got formed last year, and they are Arenanet staff, former Guild Wars 1 employees. They have over 14 years of combined experience working on the original, which is an interesting line in the blog post if you think about it, because in truth, they probably only worked a couple of years on Guild Wars 1, but together, it all builds up, even though Guild Wars 1 was like 14 years ago. They bring invaluable insight and passion to this project. We can't wait for you to play and experience it. The first updates, they say, you can look forward to include a new low bundled price. It's Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall together for $20. If you have purchased even one of the 3 campaigns, all of them will be unlocked through Guild Wars Reforged. And of course, there are still no subscription fees. So if you've already bought one of these things, you're getting the other campaigns for free. I would question how many people there are out there who do still, in this day and age, only own Nightfall, or only own Factions, or only own Prophecies. But if you're in that position, you do get some extra value here. Hardware compatibility. It is Steam Deck verified and has support for modern controllers. The UI has been redesigned with larger text options, and the game has support for high DPI displays. Visual and audio updates, dynamic sky bloom effects, new ambient occlusion and lighting updates take better advantage of modern GPUs. Other visual touch-ups refine textures and make for a cleaner visual experience, while new positional audio support makes the world more immersive. And then finally, user-friendliness. In addition to the updated UI that allows easier navigation, Guild Wars Reforged brings a new quest tracking system and an on-screen control guide. So on December 3rd, when the game update goes live, you'll see the updated logo previewed at the top of this post on our website and our Steam storefront. Guild Wars has grown as a game and as a franchise since its beginning in 2005, and we thought this was a fitting opportunity to introduce a more modern look for our beloved classic. These updates will take effect for all players. The new Reforged edition does not contain exclusive content or updates, but it simplifies the choice of what to purchase for new players. And Guild Wars Reforged isn't about a one-time update. We plan to keep collaborating with our partners to make further improvements to the game. Now, note the phrasing there. Further improvements to the game. If you've never filled up your Hall of Monuments, there's no better time to get started. We're thrilled to share the world of Tyria with you all for the last 20 years, and we're excited to be renewing our commitment to the game. Now, that's a good term there. They are renewing their commitment to the game, starting December 3rd and continuing on into the future. To see Guild Wars Reforged in action and to hear from both 2 Weeks and Arenanet, join us on a stream that they're doing tomorrow. And that's it. That is the end of the blog post. Okay. So what is this? Well, so like I say, I've actually seen gameplay of Reforged and listened to what 2 Weeks had to say about it. And it is true, it's a lot of old hats that are very excited about the project. And they talked about a bit about what it entails. Now, all those graphics updates that we heard about there all sound very fancy and exciting. Dynamic bloom and so on. They're not really. What it really is, so the bloom is like... Bloom is currently bugged in Guild Wars 1, where it doesn't really react to the resolution very well, so it looks very washed out and blown out at very high resolutions. So when you're playing on a higher resolution, the bloom will be more accurate to what the bloom should look like in 2005. That's about it. I think they mentioned something about ambient occlusion as well, which is nice, and you've seen in Guild Wars 2, there's the little checkbox that you can click, and it will put a little bit more shading around you know, certain elements, and it will sort of help with the lighting a bit. So that's nice, but it's not a major game changer. So anti-aliasing, they're like introducing FXAA support, which is also okay. But I mean, if it's FXAA, which is, you know, quite an old rendering technique and is not necessarily going to help you that much. You know, you can accomplish FXAA or a very good approximation of decent FXAA with like overlay software like Reshade, like the NVIDIA overlay and stuff like that. So like they're kind of small potatoes things. The audio update. So you guys may be familiar with this. I've done videos about this in the past. I've talked about this. Back when Guild Wars released, it released on Windows Vista. Did it release on an earlier operating system than Windows Vista? But basically, there was this thing, Direct Sound, I think it was called, which gave you nice positional audio. You know, if you were standing near a river, it would sound very loud. As you walk away, it would sound quieter. It put like reverb when you were in caves and stuff. That broke when Vista went away. Or when XP went away, when one of them. So you haven't really been able to hear that for a long time. But the community made mods for it years ago now, for at least half a decade. You know, I've done entire Let's Plays of Guild Wars 1 in the modern era with the EAX support enabled. In fact, if we already go into our sound options, you can see it's there. It's grayed out because I don't have the mod on right now. But so basically, they've made that native. So the audio is a little bit better. But a remaster, this is not. To watch Guild Wars Reforged in action, it looks like Guild Wars 1, really. The major change... So I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry to be the bringer of bad news. This is not a remaster. And in fact, what I find very, very interesting about this update is they were very, very clear with us that this was not a remaster. They were very explicit about it. They had it at the edit. And yet today, with the big reveal, with the blog post, with the trailer, they're not doing that. You know, it doesn't say in the trailer not a full remaster. It just says, you know, it's basically... So the big thing here is Steam Deck, okay? Now, I realize it is not a coincidence that just a few days ago, Valve had their big hardware announcement. Sorry that the gameplay here is so terrible, guys, right? This is basically just a podcast here. Valve did their big new hardware lineup. They've talked about their new Steam controllers and, you know, and Steam Deck support and being Steam Deck verified and all of that is big. It's important. Guild Wars 1 is currently on Steam, but it does not technically on the store page have the Steam Deck verified tag. It doesn't have the tag on it. So that's what this is, really. It's them saying, okay, if you have a Steam Deck... And there will be people out there who are excited, who have Steam Decks. They're really pushing that and making sure that Guild Wars is fun to play and works well on controllers. But the weird thing is, guys, I mean, I look at all your lovely excitement and all of your hype. We've already been talking for 7 months about this. So let's have a quick look here. Again, if you've been following my channel, you will have seen me mention this. Here, I've got some screenshots from earlier this year. If you're watching the Guild Wars 1 patch notes, back in April 10th, 2025, Guild Wars 1 Steam Deck control layouts came into beta, as they called it, by SCW, who is the guy that's been focusing on this. Hello, friends. We've been working... I mean, I already read all this out. We've been working on an official Guild Wars 2 Steam Deck control layout. Today, we're pleased to present the beta version in order to get some community feedback. They had two layouts, the ABXY layout or the Souls-like layout. I don't actually know which one they've nailed down for Reforged. The Guild Wars 1 controls were using a Steam Deck layout, but I think you can use it with basically any controls that you like, and they are good. And we talked about this when it happened. The patch notes were fairly extensive. Here were the controls. This is all stuff we already knew. And basically what's happening is this stuff from months ago is leaving beta. What's very interesting to me is we've had a lot of really decent patches for Guild Wars 1 over the past few years where they've said, oh, we've improved full screen support, or oh, we've improved the render distance, but we've improved this, that, and the other thing. But this time, Arenanet have basically given it a trailer that isn't really a new trailer, and they've given it a name, Reforged. And that's it. So I'm very iffy about this announcement, guys, because this is kind of it's a little bit more, but it's sort of par for the course for Guild Wars 1 updates. This is not a content update. This is just kind of like wrapping a few things together, giving it a fancy name so that they can remonetize it on Steam. That's really what it is. And look, I love Guild Wars 1, and I want lots of exciting announcements, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I just want everybody to temper their expectations. My big fear here is, you know, they've gone with the name Guild Wars 1 Reforged. Warcraft 3 Reforged, I didn't follow too closely, but was famously a huge flop over on the Blizzard side. People are thirsty. They are desperate for a remake. Arenanet have 100% given people the impression that there's a remake, or at the very least a remaster going on here. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not that. This is a chance to put it on Steam and hopefully, hopefully get a bit of buzz. And I just want to say as well, you know, when we look at the monetization here, I'm really excited about this prospect if it meant that there was a really good bundle, you know? But, so what are they actually doing here? Now, you guys are welcome to dispute me in the YouTube comments. It brings Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall together for $20. Hold on. They've regularly sold the triple pack already for over the past decade. For like really low prices when it comes to Steam sales. The thing that's always been annoying about Guild Wars 1 as getting a new player into it, and I know this because I've done this for other people in recent years, is that they don't have a mega bundle that's everything. All three of these, plus Eye of the North. Don't make me buy Eye of the North separately. And I think the bonus mission pack as well is a big thing. So this was a chance for them to do the full pack, finally, for the first time. And they haven't done that. That is not an element of this. $20 for the triple pack? I mean, I don't... Obviously, I'm a very long-term Guild Wars 1 player. I haven't bought these things for ages. But I swear we could have got it for that price anyway. I mean, what was it before then? There was already a triple pack. So, look, it's nice that people who owned one but not the others are kind of getting a bit of an upgrade for free here now. But it doesn't even, to me, seem like the price is something to scream. I want to sit here and scream and be excited about Guild Wars 1. I desperately want to. I don't want to pull the trigger too fast. I don't want to lead people astray. I get the impulse from other content creators and you know, being in Arenanet's pocket and saying, okay, let's get everybody excited about every little thing. I want to be excited when I feel like it's really earned, and unfortunately for me, I would say that this hasn't been. Now, I'm doing a bit of a disservice. The other big thing here is the UI stuff that they're talking about. So there is a bit of a UI update. So there are higher resolution skill icons coming in. Now, that's very exciting. Again, it's something you can mod into Guild Wars 1, and you could have modded in for years and years and years. Because, you know, Arenanet allowed people to play the sealed deck physical card format, and, you know, people got that art and they put it in as text mod. Some skills were not covered, though. Like, famously, I've talked about this many times, the Resurrection Signet, which is not available for me at the moment here. What? Now, the Resurrection Signet is now up-resed we for the first time see the full art Resurrection Signet, and I specifically requested to see that. I have seen it, guys. It is beautiful. Oh, I'm excited about that. But, you know, your mileage may vary. I guess a lot of monster skills maybe as well will have higher resolution art. They also do have some nice new things. So they mentioned this new questing thing. Basically, you know how in modern games you can pin your quest log and you'll see, like, you know, the objectives right there instead of having to pop the full panel? You kind of get a little something like that. So there is a bit of a UI refresh. When you walk over items, you can hold X and you can actually pick things up. So that was cool. So there's some little new UI quirks. But it's Guild Wars 1. Okay, this is not... So, like, one of the things I was wondering about as well is this, like, a full new restart? Are we getting new servers completely? Is everybody going to be starting in pre-searing? Pre-searing is going to be full on hype with loads of people, and we all progress together, and we all work our way back to the underworld, and we all work our way back to the domain of anguish. You know, are they separate shards? It's none of that. It's Guild Wars 1. Just a chance to play it on Steam Deck, which, in all reality, I think you would have had anyway, you know, as they were doing the betas and stuff. So, having seen all this and inhaled all of this, I was privately thinking to myself, this isn't that exciting. This isn't worthy of a relaunch. And so the number one thing on my mind was content. What are their plans for content? Content, please. That's what I want. I want to hear about Utopia. I want to hear about Guild Wars Beyond continuing. And so I asked, what are your views for content? And I got an extremely non-committal response to that. I don't have a direct quote for you guys, but I can tell you guys that it sort of seemed like real content, meaningful, bigger updates, long-term support might not be... It almost felt to me, and this is not a quote, all right, but it kind of felt to me contingent on the player base growing a lot. And we're kind of in a chicken and an egg type situation there. It's like they won't build the content unless the players are there, but the players won't be there without the content there, you know, and so on and so on and so on. So look, now the blog post does have a lot of nice little notes in there. The first, but like if you look at it closely, they're not committing to content. They say this is the first update. Updates can mean anything. It can mean refining the control scheme. It can mean refining their new UI elements. It can mean, you know, clearing up a bit more netcode. It can mean stuff like par for the course, standard things that we've been getting for Guild Wars 1. Like last month, Guild Wars 1, or 2-3 months ago, it had an update where the max frame rate came down because it was creating network issues, you know. So I don't know. Maybe that is Arenanet just trying to be sneaky. Maybe there are some Easter eggs. And I do kind of have reason, maybe, to believe that there might be content, maybe. But I don't know. So there you go. So that's Guild Wars Reforged. And I kind of hate this video, and I'm really sorry to do this video, because I feel like I'm just pissing on everyone's bonfire here. Those are my current takes on it. Everyone's asking me, oh, will you do a big new Let's Play? Will you do this? I don't think it's really... It's not different enough, maybe, to justify that. I will cover the release. I will cover news. I am holding out on the desperate hope that this is something big and new and a bright new future. I'm a big believer in supporting Guild Wars 1 over the years and getting more content in there. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be fantastic for the health of Guild Wars 3 as well. But I personally am in a very wait-and-see sort of mindset with it right now. I am... endlessly grateful that money has been spent on Guild Wars 1. You know, and I want more. I would just say, hold your horses, guys, a little bit. Here's some of the screenshots from a press pack. And there were some maybe hints. I don't know. But as you see here, this is Guild Wars 1, guys. Like what it looks like these screenshots feel like Guild Wars 1 with a wide FOV, you know, maybe I wouldn't go so far as ultra wide, maybe. But yeah, you know, and to people with Steam Decks, please play the game. It's a great game. It's a brilliant genre. It's lots of fun. I believe in Guild Wars 1, but not on the grounds of there being a remaster or a remake or anything like that, just on the grounds of it's a good game. And any moment where they've supported it and there will be an influx of players, it is a great time to get into it. Yes, there was the 20th anniversary earlier this year. It was actually smaller scope, I would say, than the 10th anniversary when we got the new skills. But, you know, there were some cool community projects and people were supporting it. So we'll see what they have to say on their next stream. And as the news comes out, keep an eye on my channel. I'll continue supporting it, guys. Drop your comments down below if you've got any questions for me. And yeah, I will keep you in the loop. It's amazing and I feel very privileged to be in a position where I can talk about Guild Wars 1. And there you go. So Guild Wars Reforged. Please don't be too excited and let down. Let's not have a Guild Wars version of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Though I guess that failed in some other ways. So there you go, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Just to say, this video I've originally released as live, and I'm doing a big Q&A. So if you want an extended version of this, go to my channel, click the live chat tab, and you'll see an extended version. For everyone else, thank you very much for watching. There's the news. Guild Wars Reforged. Let's see what we think. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. All right, here we go. Wow, I just had a blatant troll in chat. Like an actual, authentic troll. I haven't seen that for a long time. I haven't moderated my chat for like 2 years. But that guy just managed to get it. Well done. All right, there you go, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to say because I feel really nervous. As well because, like, so I have specifically asked, you know, what can I allude to the conversation I had, you know, and the fact that, you know, I've seen a bit of Reforged and stuff, and they did say, yes, it's fine. There are certain things I can't talk about. So, yeah, kind of a double whammy there, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to be negative. I want to sit here and say Guild Wars Reforged is the best thing in the world, and I want to, you know, I want to be on the hype train, but I felt really kind of ugly today. I saw all those beautiful comments, all those people desperate, you know, full all caps, sending me all these amazing messages, and it's like, oh, man. So anyway, so yeah, okay, live chat. What do we think? All right, because I didn't look at live chat at all during any of that. Oh, really negative, quite disappointing. You've not said anything positive on Guild Wars 2 for ages, just not really interested anymore. Look, what I will say that, okay, that's not true, first of all. Like, I've just done a Let's Play on VOE that is 90% positive commentary and really excited about the expansion. I don't know what kind of head under a rock you've got. But with regard to today, yeah, I'm not really on the hype train, and that is the worst sort of feeling there. I'm generally excited in as much as it's good to get more people into Guild Wars and all of that. I'm a little bit worried about leading people astray, but aside from that, you know, as this got me really pumped to replay Guild Wars 1, I will replay it for the novelty of seeing like the UI updates and stuff. But yeah, and I don't have a Steam Deck, so you know, like. Like, I kind of want to, like, they were saying, oh, I don't even play mouse and keyboard anymore. I love to do it with control, and that's awesome. I'm really happy for people who have got Steam Decks. I don't even have that, so I'm not even in the target audience, you know? I'm not someone who's looking for a discount, and I'm not someone that has a Steam Deck or a Steam controller, you know, or anything, so I'm just not in the demo, I think. So yeah, let me read some more comments here. But yeah, about negativity. I mean, what do you want from me? Do you want me to lie to you? Do you want me to be a complete fucking, you know, corporate shill and just shill everything Guild Wars all day, every day? Because my job is to sit here and make you feel good and feel happy about this franchise. That's not my job, right? My job is to be honest and real with my audience and give you guys an actual consumer's perspective, okay? It's not, like, being a partner doesn't mean fucking be happy-go-lucky all the time, and they've never asked that of their partners, and you shouldn't expect that of people. Expect authenticity from people, okay? And so, yes, I'm not that excited about this, but at the end of the day, I think I have good reasons to be. I've just explained, over half an hour, I think all the reasons why this is not the biggest deal. It's like they've taken kind of a good update, and the UI stuff especially is good. It is exciting to see some of the UI updates, but you know, they've just made it look really big with a title, with its own store page. Oh, another thing I never even mentioned, I should have mentioned in the video section. Another thing, so it's Steam, right? So I'm really excited about Steam, and I want Steam achievements. Unironically, I'd be really excited about this if there were Steam achievements, because I love that, and if there was like a prospect for a workshop, or if there was Steam trading cards, or if there was going to be a Steam community section. I asked about these things. They said there's none of that. That they're not doing any of that. So it's not like it's going to be a big fancy new Steam store page where there's all these new goodies to go for as a Steam user, which would get me excited. That's not there either. What I'm really clinging on to is this idea that there's more content, and maybe that they've even snuck something in to launch. I do totally think that might be the case, and if it is, then I'd love to see what they've snuck in. But, we're still... If they have snuck something in, it's still a far cry from a continuation of Guild Wars Beyond, right? Which is what we want. Or a rework to pre-searing, or skill balance, or all of the really big exciting things that I've made content about this year. I've done plenty of videos about the 20th anniversary, and they didn't really do any of the things. And I celebrate it every time there's an update, when they update it with dies and stuff like that. I'm just trying to do a bit of damage control here, I think. So Takavian says, to be fair, WP, I don't think many people follow patch notes and are even aware about beta updates with control stuff. That's very true as well. So like for those who are following my channel, for those who keep an eye on Guild Wars 1 updates, you know that this stuff's happening. For those that don't, maybe you need that big announcement to realize, and maybe that's fine, actually. As long as those people aren't then disappointed. Like, I remember... So I will say, so about 6 years ago, they did like the long distance update, right? And it was a really good update. It was like one of the first big things that SCW did that really improved the engine and added a lot of great stuff. I think bumped the anti-aliasing up a lot. And you remember I covered that, and that one-off video I did about Guild Wars 1 patch notes got like 150,000 views. It got which compared to my like Season 2 coverage at the time, it was like dectuple what I was getting on regular ass videos, right? People are that thirsty for Guild Wars 1 updates. That could have been called Reforged and would have been just as fitting for the name Reforged as this is. This is really about Steam Deck, guys. That's what this is about. Oh, so Nanny says they also redid the website for Guild Wars 1 and it lays out what is being added very clearly. Ooh, I haven't seen that. Shall we throw that on screen? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Don't know why I said that twice, like a parrot. Aha, there is. They got a little animation here. I'll grab a couple of screenshots. It says join our newsletter. Oh, this is fancy. Oh, God, I didn't know about this. So they've got the screenshots there. Let me zoom out slightly. Dude, they've mocked up the Guild Wars 1 website like the old, season pages. Oh, okay, so there is some new concept art that they've made, by the way. It's some key art of Devonna. Let me grab this here, and I'll show you guys that because that's on the website as well. When I first heard about this, I was so excited, and I was so interested. Like, oh my God, what are they doing? What are they doing? And like one of the first things they talked about was, oh, here's our new concept art, and I was like, oh shit, stories with Devonna, and then it was just like, oh. Okay, so here you go, Guild Wars Reforged, a legend reforged. Experience the Guild Wars Reforged. Guild Wars Reforged, the award-winning online role-playing game enjoyed by millions, now re-energized with system enhancements. From the fall of Ascalon to the desperate stand against Nightfall, every campaign is a chapter in Tyrion's epic history. Your adventure is just getting started. Relive the groundbreaking magic of this legendary narrative, and there are slight animations if you actually go to the website, guys. Relive the groundbreaking magic of this legendary narrative-driven fantasy adventure, or delve into its world for the very first time. From your first skill capture to your final piece of elite armor, every step of Guild Wars Reforged is an unforgettable journey. Stand with mighty heroes as you face Char warbands sweeping across Ascalon, as you battle rival gangs in the streets of Kaineng City, and you cross the sulphurous wastelands of the Desolation astride a Janundu worm. Set events in motion that will shape the centuries to come. Choose your adventure. Incredible stories await. This is mocked up a bit like the character select, isn't it, in game, with the rectangles, the tall rectangles. Incredible stories await across 3 massive parallel campaigns. Explore hundreds of quests, challenging missions, holiday event surprises, and more. Like, what are some other things they could do? Update the Hall of Monuments to have new objectives, new cross rewards. A shared social ecosystem, so I can be in a Guild Wars 2 guild, in Guild Wars 1, so I can add a friend and see when, like, if I'm in Guild Wars 2, I can look at my friends list and see what they're doing 250 years ago, shit like that. There's so many exciting things, I think, that would be worthy of the Reforged designation that are not here. Choose your build, craft unique builds from 10 professions, and personalize your gameplay with combining armor sets, weapons, and thousands of skills. As you adventure, explore new lands, conquer new foes, your arsenal of abilities will grow. Choose your allies, party up with other players, create a team of reliable NPC henchmen, or recruit customizable heroes to join you in fun tactical battles. Choose your challenge, test your team's mettle against other players in PvP, or complete a PvE campaign to challenge yourself with hard mode versions of maps and missions. And the last thing here, new features. Like, let's actually read their new feature list. A new low price. I mean, what is that actual discount? Anyone in live chat help me out? I could have sworn you could have bought the triple pack for 20 bucks already. A new low price. Steam Deck verified. Pending. Support for X input controllers, which has been in beta for half a year. More than that. New quest tracking and direction system. That is new. And it's basically just, you know, MMO style little element. On-screen control guide. UI enhanced with HD icons, larger text options, and quality of life improvements. I don't really know what the QOL improvements are. Support for high DPI displays. New ambient occlusion. There you go. It's like the checkbox, just like you get in Guild Wars 2. HD bloom, and again, it's like it's actually authentic bloom to what you used to have. And AA, that is FX AA, guys. It's not something big. Rebuilt audio system, it's the EAX implementation. So, you know, I can't say I necessarily blame the studio for putting a lot of energy into having a big announcement for this. Because they want people to be excited about Guild Wars 1, and they want people to know that they're supporting Guild Wars 1 and they're going as big as possible. I just wish in terms of what we were getting, there was a bit more to justify it. And I personally, I wouldn't feel right sitting here. As much as apparently some of you in the audience only watch me for positivity, I wouldn't feel right doing that inauthentically. So please don't be a doomer. I'd be heartbroken. I'm not a doomer. I'm being realistic about Reforged. I love that they're supporting it, and I want to see content. I want to see content, not just a little bit of content, not like we might do a bit before we move on to the next project. Oh, you know, we've contracted these guys, but only for a little while. I want to see a long-term commitment to content to Guild Wars 1. I'm an advocate for that, and I will be hyped and thrilled and I see all of these YouTube comments, all these people typing in all caps and everything, so excited, and I'm scared for those people that they are not going to get what they should get, and I feel awful about doing a video where I'm not there with you. You know, I want to be there with you. I want to be there with the thrill and the excitement. I do. Do we know how big the team is? I can't put an actual number on it, and I'm not sure how precise I should get into things. But I will say not big as far as I can see. So, like, what is the minimum bar for me to justify the Reforged name? I think more substantial graphics updates would have got me there, but is that the minimum bar? I think a refresh, I think a reset would have been exciting if it was in its own server area. You know, like like I beat Guild Wars 1 this year. All right, I'm not a fucking doomer. I'm a fan of this game. I'm probably the biggest fan of this fucking game that a lot of you guys interact with or know. All right, you probably know a lot of people of Guam. I don't know how many people you know that have been grinding mega fucking Guam to get everything except the PvP shit. There's not many people like that out there. I was playing this game as an active fan this year. And not just for a little bit when the 20th anniversary came. I was grinding the shit out of this. I probably got 200-300 hours in this game this year. Okay? I'm a fan of this game. I want a reason to go back and play more. And I don't really, because except for getting more Guams on more characters. Which is a series idea I've been toying with. But, you know, if it was a fresh reset for everyone, that would have been reforged to me. Like, what? It's not really reforged, is it, when it's all the same? Nanny says, Studio 2 weeks is 4 people. Oh, so that's official, is it? The people know it's only 4 people? Look, I hate being a Debbie because that's 4 more people than we had before. All right, that's 4 more people, and I'm so thankful. Money is being spent on 4 more people than we had before. That's fucking brilliant. All right, that's awesome, and I do not deny that. That's awesome. You're well aware of what you're getting. You're just happy to get something good, and I think that's where we should all be. Just be aware of what you're getting. Okay. Be aware of what you're getting. And I know some people are just sort of indulging and memeing a bit with their big hype and excitement today. So, you know. God, this sucks being the cold shower, doesn't it? But, okay, so here's the thing, right? The hype itself, I think, is the story. Once again, this is just like I talked about with the graphics updates they did like 6 years ago. Once again, I just have to say, look at the hunger there is for this Arenanet. Look at the hunger there is for real updates. And I guess here's the nightmare scenario. A lot of people think, like I've seen a bunch of people saying, yeah, we're gonna get back in, we're gonna do the whole campaign. Some of the guys I'm raiding with, we're just talking about going back to the underworld and stuff. And I'm like, well, do it now. Like, the game is not really any different once Reforged comes out, especially if you're playing on mouse and keyboard. It's no different. Do it now. And so what I'm concerned about is people like that will be let down by this, and then in 2-3 years when there is Guild Wars Beyond continuing or whatever, those people will tune out and they won't pay attention to it because it's like fool me once, you know, fool me twice. It's like how in Guild Wars 2, Season 4 is excellent. Season 4 is some of the highest quality stuff they ever did. But by the time we got to Season 4, a lot of people were burned out. And they weren't trusting the seasons anymore. And they don't judge them as different things. They just think it's all like fixing signs in Flame and Frost. And that's so unfair. That's so unfair to the quality of Season 4. I'm scared a similar thing will happen with Guild Wars 1, where they may have greater designs, but they fired the starting pistol too soon. Does that make sense? So looking back at live chat, guys, if I miss your messages, just repost them. Repost your messages. I'm here. I will respond to you. Umbra says, but Debbie, if you make a fresh account, it is practically reforged. No, though, it's not, because it's not the community going through everything. It's not the economy resetting, you know? Like, you can see it in ARPGs. They do actual resets because it changes the dynamics of the quests people are doing, your chances of getting parties at certain missions, the feeling of having a lot of people around. You know how desperate people are for that community bump? Look at, like, streamer-ran projects over the years, where they'll say, oh, look, everybody's back at Ascalon. Look at this screenshot. And really, it's just like 20 people standing around a place. And it's like, oh, we managed to open 2 districts. It's not actually that exciting, all right? When we have around the clock 10 districts open in Ascalon City, 10 districts open at Yak's Bend, 10 districts open at Lion's Arch, loads of people running Galrath and shit like that, on your own time, not just because you sat down when fucking WoodenPotatoes kicked up a stream, right? That's what, or you know, the big Arenanet project that happened, and she'll be the one, I guess, hosting their stream tomorrow, over the 20th anniversary. That's what I want, right? And, you know, we're all excited for that. I just want to be honest about whether we're actually attaining that. Will Guild Wars Reforged actually attain that? I hope so. For a few weeks, at least. And okay, 10 districts is probably a bit of a push, don't get me wrong, right? But 2 to 3. Lee ZZ says nothing is going to change for Guild Wars 1 retention in the long term. This will get a small influx that will die fast. You need content that they need to be selling to fund its development. And Lee is right. Lee in chat gets it, right? What I want from Guild Wars Reforged is, hi, we're the guys at 2 Week. We're Guild Wars 1 devs. We're a small, snappy team. We love Guild Wars 1, and we're here. We're here to stay. We're here to make content. You will see the next chapter of Guild Wars Beyond a year from now. We don't have anything to show for you just yet, but we are working on it. It's going to be like mini X-Packs, you know, but a smaller scope. Please bear with us. Balance is on the table. Item refinements are on the table. New endgame is on the table. Guild Wars 1 is the place to be, all right? And to launch all of that, guess what? We're coming to the Steam Deck. We're relaunching the Steam page. We have Steam achievements, so there's a great opportunity for you to make a new account. We'll give you an extra reward in Guild Wars 2 if you actually do go through on a new account. It's cheaper than before. You get Eye of the North with it. Guild Wars Reforged. And by the way, here's a trailer that's not just an up-res of the old, you know, from the old Masters. Guild Wars Reforged. That's the announcement that I want to see. That will get people in permanently. That will say we are supporting both games. Instead, what we got was, okay, here's a Steam Deck port, and hopefully people play it. If they do, maybe we can justify doing some content before 2 weeks leaves again. That's what we got, all right? And it's different. It's not the same. Right, I don't need graphics updates if everything on the list just came in. That's what... I'm a Guild Wars 1 fan. That's what I want. That's what I will advocate for. And I have to say, it was a bit eyebrow-raising for me earlier in the week when the big Steam announcement happened. And I kind of thought, huh, do people in the industry know Valve was about to do that? So they thought, fuck, let's... Look, we've got this Steam controller beta going on. We've got this Stream Deck beta going on. Let's hold off on that for a second. Let's announce it in a bigger way. Relaunch the Steam page and do it right after Steam announce this. After Valve announce their new hardware, huh? Huh? And that's savvy, all right. And I can't. Look, I'm never gonna. Well, not never. I don't disagree with their impulse to go as big as possible with this announcement and to put some money on the announcement. I don't disagree with that. But, you know, did they earn it? Yeah, so Ice Salad has this quote from the blog post, okay? Guild Wars Reforged isn't about a one-time update. We plan to keep collaborating with our partners to make further improvements. And again, look at the way it's phrased. That's not content. They're not ruling content out either. Right? But it's not content. There's something that I don't know if I can talk about. So I'm gonna have to sit on the side of caution, I'm afraid. There is something. I do have a little bit of hopium in me based on something, but I don't know if I can or should talk about it. Because I don't know whether it was a mistake on their part or whatever. So I'm sorry to be a complete blue ball tease about that bit. Yeah, you know, if this blog post came out and said this is a port, right, this is a Steam Deck port for Guild Wars 1, it probably would have had about as much of a splash as the beta drop was. Like, I talked about that beta patch, and no one really gave a shit, I have to be honest. Half a year ago, when I talked about that, oh, guys, look at this, ooh, you got your controllers? Okay, I'm sure I didn't go that high pitch. I remember getting a few comments. What about the Lion's Arch thing on stream? What's that? What's that? I don't know. Am I out of the loop? Am I out of the loop? You don't know if you want content from modern devs? Okay, that's being a doomer, all right? Death by Troll is a doomer. Yes, I want content from modern devs. Yes, I trust the modern devs. Yes, I think they understand this product. Yes, I think they're fans of this product. Yes, I think they have the technical capability to deal with it, even if it's a House of Card old spaghetti code. Yes, I believe they could do stuff. I believe they can even do balance updates. The only reason that you'd be upset about... I literally don't know why you'd be upset about modern content from the devs. You know, it might be a bit clunky and there might be some bugs as they start figuring it out, right? Because, like, I empathize with them. I know what it's like to wade into someone else's code and try to figure out what the fuck's going on. And they, you know, like, the comments are shit. I get it, all right? And this is old stuff. We call Guild Wars 2 spaghetti, but remember, they moved away from Guild Wars 1 for being spaghetti. Let's go to Lion's Arch. I'm highly embarrassed about the quality of this content here. It's just me standing here. This is just as good as my Guild Wars 2 streams, right? Let's just run in circles around Lion's Arch. If you own these games already, you pay nothing. Yeah, if you own these games already, nothing changes. You would love them to sell at least new bonus mission packs? Me too. Me too. I think one of their first priorities will be microtransactions and stuff like that. More ways to monetize it. And bonus mission packs sold on an individual basis might be just the way to do it. Actual troll, if you think there hasn't been any good contemporary games yet. They've done plenty of good stuff. Look, Janthir Wilds had a couple of dodgy beats, but Janthir Wilds was excellent. Secrets of the Obscure had lots of excellent elements. VOE has just been excellent. End of Dragons had some dodgy beats, but also a lot of excellent things as well. You know, this is a weird thing to talk about because we're in a weird camp here where Guild Wars 1 viewers are watching, and they're all enemies of Guild Wars 2. Well, they're not all enemies, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are salty. A lot of them don't agree with, you know, various changes and stuff, so... You got to remember the people in chat right now are going to be a little bit different to, you know, and they're going to be more inclined to just think Guild Wars 2 players have no taste because they got burned for A, B, C, or D. I hate this. I look at all these people, happy people in Lion's Arch. Yay! Ooh, Reforged. Do you know how many whispers I got while raiding just now? Oh my God, Reforged. Oh, yeah, guys, Reforged. Like, I thought it was quite odd, honestly, looking at, like, watching the gameplay of Reforged, and then, like, the login screen has the whole new title and everything, and it was like, is this worth a new title? No, they are all enemies. Most Guild Wars 1 players absolutely hate Guild Wars 2. Yeah, and, you know, that sucks, and I don't think that had to have been true. Oh my God, look, we have a Spud here. By the way, we do have a guild. And there's a fucking Spud here. Hello. That didn't have to be the case. Guild Wars 1 players wouldn't be Guild Wars 2's enemies if they had kept supporting with content drops and balance drops, right? They wouldn't be your enemies. They wouldn't be dragging this community down. They wouldn't be dragging development down. So look, here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to... Here's the news today. The news is that there's more people working on Guild Wars 1 and they've done something for it, all right? I do not... want to be the guy that says, this sucks, and throw my toys out of the pram. I'm not doing that, all right? I promise I'm not doing that. I am so excited and so thrilled and so happy that some management somewhere has said, okay, let's spend money on this 20-year-old game, right? Someone has done that, and we have people in the modern world working on this game. That is beautiful. That is what I want, all right? And that is great. All I'm saying is Reforged may not be... You know, you can't have people running around in all caps screaming about how excited they are at this remake. And I think their communication was a bit off there. They were very, very clear that it's not a remake. Otherwise... Isn't it mainly because the old PvP community hates Guild Wars 2? No, I think PvE is too. I think PvE is too. You know, the PvP discussion is very tricky as well. Like, I lived it, all right? I covered it as an adult. PvP was increasingly fringe and niche all the way through. Even since, like, PvP balance got nuked with factions, kind of got back on its feet, then got nuked again with Nightfall, and never really reclaimed the true, you know, heights. So for the vast majority, even of Guild Wars 1's heyday, it was being treated as a PvE product. It's just in hindsight, people say, oh, it was a big PvP game because of like the very initial designs and stuff. But Arenanet were transitioning out of it, even during Guild Wars 1's heyday. Certainly by Eye of the North. Not to say there weren't great GVGs and things happening, and to this day, people GVG. To this day, I get messages from people. I actually have a DM on Discord, still, from someone who said, hey, about a year ago, who said, hey, WP, I GVG, and if you want to learn it and you want to play with me and my guildies, please, you'd be more than welcome. We'll show you the ropes. And I've had it there and not responded to the person because I really quite like the idea of saying yes. I just haven't found the time or the energy to, you know, socialize, and I'm a complete introvert and all that. So, Nanny says, I feel like the news can be summarized as they are laying the groundwork just in case lots of people play it due to the Steam Deck and they can justify making new content. I think that's a really good description of it too. Absolutely, I think that is. And look, guys, the day where I'm screaming in all caps, yeah, let's go, is the day that they say, here's some content coming. That's the moment for me. You know, when it says Guild Wars Beyond, Joko's Rise, or whatever, right? When we get that Nightfall chapter. Not that it even has to be that. Or when they announce the new bonus mission pack. And look, a bonus mission pack, guys, is going to be like half an hour of content that you pay like fucking $10 for, right? It's not going to be a good value proposition for most people. But I will be there and I will be hyped about it. And I will be hyping people up about it. And I'll do a video showing off the UI and, you know... I'm not going to buy a Steam Deck to cover this, I'm afraid. That's just sort of out of my funds, but, you know. Guild Wars 1 was an online RPG. Guild Wars 2 is an MMO. Yeah, it was interesting, actually, to hear them referring to it as an MMO. I don't know, mistakenly so or whatever. I mean, there's this, you know, death of the author almost with some of this shit, isn't there? I'm getting weird stuttering game. Are you guys seeing that? Hopefully they resolve that. You know, just because Arenanet calls it a CORPG, if the rest of the industry and the user base doesn't really recognize that term and it doesn't catch on, then they're going to have to drop it, aren't they? That's not the point. You can now natively use the controller on your PC. That's true as well. But I not only don't have a deck, I don't have a Steam controller. I mean, I guess I could play it with a 360 controller. I do have a... Well, not a 360 controller. I have an Xbox One controller. What do you guys think? We could do a bit. You're a Guild Wars 1 player since the start and you love Guild Wars 2? Yeah, look, they exist, alright? Look, a lot of us exist. I'm like that too. I'm really nervous right now. I feel like there's someone out there who's really angry with me, has typed an angry message, and I've missed it. But if you're angry or upset, let's hear it. Come on, type your message. I'm here. I'm here to respond. The hype is palpable. The news is spreading like wildfire through gaming networks and being received with great enthusiasm. That's what makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because it feels like it's unearned. I don't know. Okay, let me just propose something to you, WP. The news is exciting. It spreads like wildfire. All these people come back and play, and they're all right. They enjoy it. And there's not like a reactive, oh. Will I be all right with that? I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I mean... It will make me sad on like a meta level that it's like, oh fuck, it's not really about the updates, it's about how you package them. It's all about marketing. It's all about spin. Because that's what I think that's what feels a bit weird to me. It feels like there's a bit of spin here. So on the meta level, I'll be a bit of a Debbie, but who gives a shit, right? Like, let's just get people into playing to Guild Wars 1, and whatever gives us the highest chance of a Guild Wars 1 community, there's my thumbs up, you know? More like WoodenPotatoes. I think I've just been off-put about that person being mean a minute ago. Saying it's an L take. I think I'm too sensitive, guys. I'm too sensitive to be on the internet. I know there's a lot of bravado here, but I really am. I'm a fragile little crybaby inside. I'll be walking around fretting about this. I'm going to do that video. I'm going to spin this into a dedicated video in a minute, and I'm going to be really fretful and nervous of the comments. I'm always nervous of my comments now. It's just not fun. It gives me anxiety, man. It really does. Sorry. I need to read. Stop blathering. That's kind of the point. I think it's disingenuous to suggest they've had controller support in beta. What we have currently is Steam mapping profile, a dev shared that anyone can make. Yeah, but that's basically what this is. How's that disingenuous? I must be honest as well. Even when that beta come out, I was thinking, hold on, we've had Xpadder profiles and shit for years. I played Guild Wars 1 on controller in random arenas before Guild Wars 2 came out. I mean, it's only 8 skills. It's a game that is eminently controller playable, and I've played it on controller. I genuinely think you can see videos of me talking about playing on controller back in my original Let's Play from 2010. But, you know, I mean, I don't want to go on about that. It's because they're very proud of the control scheme that they've got, and they say it works really well, and they prefer it to mouse and keyboard and all of that, and that's wonderful. as I said above, there's a big difference between a Steam Deck controller layout and a configuration and a full layout with icons and full native functionality with a controller, says Scott Game Dev. I agree. I can tell you, I've watched the gameplay. The UI is like almost exactly the same. There's just a couple of new UI elements. What you'll see is like little icons on the skills showing you the button to press, like A, B, C, X, Y, Z, or like it will say left trigger, right trigger. So there's like a slight overlay so you can see your bindings, which is like, you know, kind of already there. Like you can see it says 1, 2, 3, or, you know, you get that in Guild Wars. So there's a slight overlay. When you walk over an item, you get a little pop-up that says like pick up gold, and it's like press X to pick up gold. And you don't have to have the whole quest log panel open like this. You can have just the little display of your current quest. And it's got like a little icon on it representing the quest, which I thought was quite interesting. I don't know if they hooked up an individual one for every quest in the game. I doubt it. It's probably per region. It's probably based on the region that you collect the quest. That would be my guess. And that's the change. So look, and I've said it over and over and over. I like the UI updates. They did it. There's a UI. There are UI improvements for the. I'm not suggesting for a second that all they did was take the controller thing out of beta and call it there. They've done some stuff. All right. They've improved the bloom, though I couldn't really see any different in game. You get AO, though. Again, like these are kind of small potatoes, really, and there's FXAA in there. They specifically said that they weren't going to do any big graphical things because they didn't want to mess with the visuals much. That they thought the game looked really good and that it held up. And as they were saying that, I was thinking, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does need more. It is dated and it doesn't hold up. And you know, we as Guild Wars 1 players that are already there, that are already nostalgic, we can feel excited about it. But then again, you know, you look at a project like old school RuneScape and it thrives. You know, I think gameplay comes first when it comes to some of these reinvigorating the old games. Let me keep reading. You've never played Guild Wars 1, but you've got thousands of hours in Guild Wars 2. You're excited to jump in with everyone else. I think that's the thing, right? Like this idea that everyone gets in together, making it a moment, that's big. And for that reason, I really like that they've done a big announcement. You know, whether they've conned people into it, so to speak, or not, is kind of by the by, isn't it? The masses won't be familiar with what is or isn't new. Yeah, and the masses didn't use text mods to up-res their UIs back in the day. And the masses didn't use the EAX mods more recently. Though, again, it didn't really change it too much. Remember, I did a factions playthrough with it on, and all it really did was just fix some audio bugs. You know, But the masses that are truly new to it, I think, will still think the game looks very dated. What is inventory management like with a controller? Excellent question. They didn't go into that, and I didn't think to ask. I'm really sorry. That's a really good question. That's a very, very, very good question. I have no idea. That could be a big point where they've done a lot, but I think they would have talked about it. NCSoft's biggest PC games are Lineage 1 and 2, which came out in 98 and 2003. Maybe they want to tap that market. Maybe. Let me see here. Osiris, with a $5 donation. Thank you, Osiris. Did something happen with the comments? I feel like the ones I see are usually conversational or reactions not screaming at you. Anxiety sucks. No, I think everyone's been quite friendly. I think I'm looking for controversy, to be honest. I'm looking for people who are miffed and upset that I'm not on the hype train as much as they are. What are the odds of them implementing the hard mode quests? Well, there are already hard mode quests. So, you're asking for new hard mode quests? I mean, I would love that. I have absolutely... I have like 90... I have no... If it's a really successful release and lots of people are in it, I feel like they might do some content, maybe. I don't know. That's for them to say, though. And, you know, I don't know what my confidence level with that is. You know, I'm probably doing a disservice. Maybe I should have done this video a bit differently. Oh, my God! Guild Wars Reforged? Is it a remake, everybody? Oh! In a weird way, I wish I was completely in the dark about this, because I would have done that. That would have been the video. I think the most exciting thing is be able to relive it with new players. and content creators. I don't think that should be the excitement. I think the content creator bit especially. The nostalgia will be nice. Yeah, the nostalgia's great. It's a fun game, especially if you've had a big break from it. Grey Tot says, as someone who started playing last year, it does hold up as a charming, low-poly game. What makes the game ugly is the positioning of buildings and more permanent stuff. Also, it's just like Guild Wars 2, where it's very variable, right? The Eye of the North is gorgeous. Like, the graphics in Eye of the North, and well, I don't want to say graphic. Let's just say the presentation in Eye of the North, the post-processing effects, all this shit is really, really good. The color grading, you know, this is the one I always go on about, right? Boreal Station, I run through... And we go out, and it pulls to focus, and you get all this warm lighting of being in the cave with the dwarves, and then it comes out. But, you know, this isn't in the bundle. I think one of the things that I will happily and very comfortably say I think was a real miss is the pricing. Why is it not a quad pack? Why is it not everything for $20? I mean, really? There was a real chance to move the needle here and sell everything together. I guess they've ran some analysis and realized, you know, that they... If you do play Prophecies and you get to the point of beating it, you are 90% chance going to go for Eye of the North and play a lot more, you know, and you're going to want the Hall of Monuments connection and all of that. What do I think about the team? They seem like GW1 devs to me. They seem like enthusiastic fans just as much as you're a fan, just as much as I'm a fan, except with the technical know-how, and it's like returning to a game that they love. That was the impression I got, and I have every faith that they want to do stuff. So that was my impression of them. But my other impression was that at the end of the day, they are their own thing, and they were contracted for this, and one day they will move on because they are not Arenanet. And that, in and of itself, suggests to me that this is not long-term commitment to Guild Wars 1 in parallel to Guild Wars 2 and whatever future projects they have. Do you think that if they introduced a lot of new side story content tied into Guild Wars 2 in the first game, it would be well accepted by Guild Wars 1 only players? Let me read that again. I think that's a good question, but I've misunderstood it. Do you think that if they introduced a lot of new story content tightly tied to Guild Wars 2 in the first game, it would be well accepted? I do think that, yes. I do. I 100% think that. If they did, you know, a Joko Guild Wars 1 Beyond chapter, and it revealed there's another phylactery, right? Which is, in the worst case scenario, when Joko is annihilated and eaten by a dragon, the phylactery will still work. It's just hidden a long way away. And we find evidence in Guild Wars 1 that he does have a plan, right? And then lo and behold, Joko comes back in Guild Wars 2 or whatever, right? Some kind of tightly connected story like that. If we learn more about the Seers, very, very appropriate for Visions of Eternity. I think the Seers are an excellent candidate. If we learn more about Zin's experimentation with the Seers and what he did, right, in those closing days. If we learn all of that shit and it ties into Castor and stuff, I think not only will it be accepted by the Guild Wars 1 players, I think it will be excellent for the Guild Wars 2 players. And if I was in the big chair, that's exactly what I would be saying. I'd be saying do stories that integrate, do stories that cross over. Now, I'm not, I don't follow WoW Classic, right? But my understanding is that that's what WoW Classic does. Is that not right? WoW Classic is kind of like giving you an alternate timeline or something. But haven't they done lots of story hooks into retail? That shit's amazing, right? That's like a fucking MCU crossover. That's like watching Captain Picard sit down next to Captain Sisko. That's like watching Xena meet Hercules. What other good examples have we got? That's like King Kong fighting Godzilla. Let's go way back to the OG, right? That shit's cool. And I don't want to hear from any fucking brain-cooked doomer from Guild Wars 1 that is such a negative Nancy that they can't handle anything Guild Wars 2. Like, fuck those people. I don't care about them. Yes, connect them. Connect them, connect them, connect them. That's how I feel about that. Sorry, scrolling. Should I do quicker answers? I have a donation. Thank you from Rocker. 10 euros. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. WP, I hate all these takes. I want you to know that I'm greatly upset. If Utopia doesn't end up being released as a result of the remaster, it'll be your fault. Yeah, like, look, if they can do fucking Zoteka for realsies, But, like, what can 4 devs do? You know, what can they do? I mean, you'd be surprised. On the extra live stream that they did, the Guild Wars 1 extra live stream, it was interesting seeing a very small room of devs, and they said, hey, this is the whole Eye of the North team. And there was a very small room. That was quite interesting to me, to see how small their numbers were. But I've also met some of these guys in real life, and they've talked to me about the hellish crunch that they went through. Naming no names. So, I don't know. I don't know if we can expect that. By the way, speaking of the Guild Wars 1 extra live stream, that was a fascinating watch. Because they were streaming Guild Wars 1 knowing that Reforged was about to be announced, and they were saying nothing about it. And it was really fun to watch them, like, talk in circles around it. It was amazing. Like, so often on their stream, it came up like, oh, yeah, next year we'll talk more about... What were they saying? They were saying, oh, we'll talk more about Guild Wars 1 next year. And it was like, clearly it's because Reforged will be out. And they couldn't do it. I mean, the timing was kind of awful, really. If Extra Life had happened this week, then they would have had some big, awesome conversation. I mean, everyone would have tuned in. There were like 400 people, that's it, watching an official stream from Arenanet. 3 of, like, the most fantastic devs you can imagine. Friendly people with social skills, and they're good on the camera, and they happen to be Guild Wars 1 vets. And they happen to have a bunch of anecdotes. Like, it was the perfect panel. You could not ask for a better panel, right? It was the dream stream that they did for Extra Life this Saturday. A Saturday evening! No one's at work. Talking about Guild Wars 1 memories. Never before seen screenshots. Them tinfoiling desks and shit up. Like Jim wrapping Dwight's desk up in Christmas wrapping present paper. It was amazing, and they got 400 people watching. 400 measly people. If they had done that after the Reforged announcement, well, we'd be in a very different world. Fuck, I'm too rambly. Sorry. Reading. You're the reason I got into Guild Wars 2. Hearing your voice straight up causes me to feel nostalgic. I hope you're all doing good. Yeah, I shouldn't joke. I was going to make a joke about my kidneys. I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I get that too. You know, I'll listen in on a YouTuber that I haven't listened to for ages. And it fucking sucks. It sucks that this stream and the video I'm going to spin out of it is going to have so many people that are like, oh, I'm going to see what WoodenPotatoes is up to. I haven't listened to him for 5 years, and they're going to get that video. But I have to be true. I have to tell the truth. I have to say what I have to, guys. I have to say how I see it. And you know what? If you fucking disagree, tell me why. If I'm ever, like, not on a hype train as much as you, I'm not doing that lightly. You don't think I have a personal stake and wealth investment in this fucking game and boosting this game and being excited about this game? My bias is the other way. Why am I saying all this? The rages have fucking left. They're not listening. They don't give a shit. They're gone. I loved Alona Maps, man. I played it when no one was talking about it and there were no new patches. I know. Wouldn't it be cool to go back there and beyond and have all the maps update, just like how the Ministry of Purity came in, all the White Mantle guys came in? 100% agree that they should at least make an everything pack that's $30 or something. I know, it's so weird. I wonder if it's because of the way that Steam works in terms of having different store pages for different things. I wonder if they're going to... But the thing is, you can sunset a store page, can't you? People who have already bought it will retain whatever they have, but you can sunset a store page. So they could have just killed all the current Steam pages and put on... and put one mega release. That's what I would have done. And achievements. Am I being petty about achievements? But I really think that Steam achievements... And I think that was a huge failing when they brought Steam to Guild Wars 2 as well. And to me, it's just one of those things as well. Here I am, a bit doomery. You know, like... The shittiest, most under-budgeted solo dev projects have Steam achievements, alright? They find the time to fully support the storefront. They find the time. When Guild Wars 2 released on Steam, if it had achievements, I would have had another account, and you guys would have seen a whole other playthrough. but it didn't, so I didn't really have that investment in it. And it's the same thing now. How is it that like every game I know puts that energy in, but Guild Wars doesn't? Arenanet don't? Is it that hard to figure out Steam achievements? Sorry, but everyone else is doing that. So there I am being a bit snobby, and there I am being a bit, like I feel like that's a very low bar, but a meaningful one. So yeah, I asked about those, and I was disappointed with that. You haven't played Guild Wars 1 before, though. I was wondering if it's worth getting into with the upcoming remake. Yes, it's worth getting into. Yes, it's worth it. But I'll tell you what, it's worth it today. It was worth it 6 months ago. It was worth it last year. It was worth it 6 years ago when they did the graphics update. It was worth it when Guild Wars 2 came out. It's worth it. It's dated, and it will still look dated on December 5th. But, you know, you will have, like, a big moment with a lot of the community coming, which is nice, and that's an obvious value, so that's very good. You played Prophecies? I don't think it holds up. Oh, here we go. I played Prophecies. I don't think it holds up. The story was kind of shit with an NPC lore dumping right at the end. I pegged it being a product of its time. I do like the environments, though. Yeah, Prophecies is not great. I played Prophecies with Kerry. She has no connection to the franchise, and she struggled. I had to... I kind of don't like talking about this because that's her and her life and her experience and stuff, but... I had to fucking drag that woman through this game. I had to drag her through it. Through, like, the Maguma jungle and stuff, especially. Like, she was just so done with it. And then we started wiping in the Crystal Desert. Because we were using, like, heroes and henchmen and stuff. And sorry, just henchmen. So for the back half of the game, I just put an OP comp on. Because we just weren't going to beat it. I put an OP comp on and I rushed us through because I was so desperate for her to see the story. This was last year that we did this. It was last year because I wanted to see all of that stuff because of all the Titan stories going on in Guild Wars 2. Because of Mount Barrier and you know, the Mistborn Barons and everything. And I was like, she would like the Guild Wars 2 story more if she at least finished Prophecies. So I pushed and pushed and pushed. We barely got over the finish line and we have not gone back to factions. And I have asked her many times, do you want to go back to factions? She's just not into it. And I'll tell you that most of like my online friends, I think none of them would really like Guild Wars 1 as it currently is. So, and I think it's, I mean, their opinions are their own. But I think if the game looked prettier, they would be more into it. Anyway, Prophecies is not the best. I've said this over and over. I will defend Guild Wars 1 to the hilt, but Prophecies isn't that good. But Nightfall is exquisitely good. Nightfall's really good. Eye of the North is really good. And Factions is iffy, but it's short, so it gets away with it. Prophecies is epic up until the Divinity Coast, I would say. It's all really strong. Pre-searing is really good. Post-searing is really good. The first Mountain Arc is really good. This stuff's really good, but it does start to fall off, I think, after that. And get a bit long and a bit meandering and a bit iffy. But anyway. Let's see. RPG Maker games have achievements. Yeah, I mean, we played that Guild Wars 1 remake in RPG Maker, and that had achievements. So yeah, not a remake of Guild Wars 1 for clarity, says channel WW1OD. Yes, indeed. It's not a remake or a remaster. Do we have to buy the game again if we played all three? No, it's absolutely free for all existing members of the community. And if you guys want to like do your bit, so to speak, and you're keen for Guild Wars 1, then yeah, play it on December 5th. Get into it, buy a new account, get a new account, play a new character. I might spin up a project for it, but there's so much I want to do, guys. So I'm undetermined on that. Next comment. Yes, Lynn, I agree with this. Lynn says the writing isn't great in Prophecies, but the feeling of going on a world-spanning adventure is pretty fucking based. Yes, I totally agree with that. That's the greatest thing about Prophecies to me, that you get to go exploring on such a huge scale into so many places. It's really good. You know, there's so much that they could do to prop up the presentation of this game, by the way. Like in Eye of the North, one of the real values in Eye of the North that makes it feel a lot more modern than the other products is this.
By the bear.
By the bear. She speaks. The NPCs have intro dialogue. That kind of stuff, as far as I'm concerned, should be on the table for some kind of an update for Prophecies, for Factions, and for Nightfall. You know, little bits of new voice acting in there that just sort of enhances things. Look at, I mean, what? there's so much that they could do. I was going to say inventory management and stuff. Deposit or collectibles, shit like that. I don't think they need huge updates or content to attract players. When the 15th anniversary skill released, my guild and I raced to cap them, and there was a noticeable population rise. Yeah, there was a temporary spike, and then it goes away. It's not... I mean, okay. Is that good enough for us? I'm asking you guys in chat now. Is that... Because it might be that that's okay. It might be that my bar is too high. Is it okay that for the past 15 years, Guild Wars 1 has basically nothing going on and no news? Sometimes there'll be an update. We've had basically 3 updates that kind of approach content, right? The 5th, the 10th, and the 20th anniversaries. Is that okay? Is that all we need? Should we wait now to the 30th anniversary for a bit of a population spike and they leave? Is that the bar? Now, call me a snob, call me a Debbie Downer, tell me I'm having an L take. To me, that's not good enough. I want more for Guild Wars 1. I want more for people who like this RPG. I want regular content. I want real content drops. I want balance on the regular. The 20th anniversary was a smaller update than the 10th. But am I wrong? You know, maybe that's right. Maybe that's fine, right? Yeah, we did a YouTube video at the 20th. I think some of the phrasing on their announcement is quite interesting as well. Let's have a look here. Just to show how impromptu actually this feels. See, I'm quite curious because there's 2 conflicting pieces of information, and I'm wondering what you guys make of this. Let me go get my my stuff back up. Reforged. I think it was in the blog post. This year we're grateful to celebrate the 20th anniversary. And here they say, spurred on by the wonderful community response to the April anniversary celebration, right? Well, hold on. There was a huge celebration for the 10th as well, but, you know, different leadership, different time, whatever. Okay, so they were spurred on by the community response in April. So that makes it seem like this is very impromptu. This is very recent, and that I can totally believe the scope of what they've done. But then, to make this project possible, we've partnered up with 2 Weeks, who formed in 2024. So that's not this April. That's older than that. So I'm not quite... Are they just... So 2 Weeks formed... So my reading of this is, like, the impression you get is that 2 Weeks has been working on this since 2024. But I don't think that's right. I think 2 Weeks must have formed in 2024 to do whatever. Make whatever game. They probably have their own ambitions, all right? They have their own projects, and it's a bit like it's sort of like what we heard about Manaworks. Remember, Manaworks had their games that they wanted to do, and then they had no money, so they did what all game studios really have to do. They had to start contracting out. They had to, you know, find clients elsewhere and work on other people's projects, and just like moonlight on what their true heart's desire is, right? And I kind of feel like that might be what 2 Weeks happened. You know, some old devs they met up, they made their team in 2024, and now they're like, well, shit, what do we do? And oh, hey, look. They got a contract from Arenanet to work on Guild Wars 1 a few months ago. Because they're saying here they were spurred on by the community response. And that's lovely as well, by the way. Can I just say, the fact that the studio was listening, and that when we sit here and we say we want more for Guild Wars 1, that they do actually... that this is a response. They're doing this for you. They're doing this because people want it. And that's really nice. And that wasn't the case in previous years. But yeah, so I don't know what the real story is there with 2 Weeks. Or is it possible that 2 Weeks has been working on Guild Wars 1 for like a year already? A year or more already? I don't think that can be true based on what I've seen from Reforged. People say Guild Wars 2 has corny MCU-like quips. They've never played Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 has very pop culture referencey, very light, very pulpy, very silly stuff in it. But it's usually on the side of the main quest. In Guild Wars 2, those side experiences come to the fore a lot more because they're voice acted, because they're there in the open world. Stuff like that. But yeah, both games are about. I think they're pitch-wise, they are more similar than you might realize. I would call Guild Wars 1 epic fantasy, and I wouldn't call Guild Wars 2 epic fantasy. That said, Maguma missions are just mowing through mobs for 20 minutes to get to a 5-second objective for no reason. Yeah, and you know what really struck Kerry was how just all the maps are mazes. I kept saying to her, "Look how big the world is compared to Guild Wars 2. Look at the scale. Look how big it is." And she was never, and I was always trying to pump her up about it, and she was never really that excited about it. Her response to me was, "Yeah, they're big because they're mazes, because you can't climb over any of these cliffs, and they're just mazes." And I kind of find it hard to disagree with her on that. I have a question regarding your videos. You have a planned series of lore between Guild Wars 1 and 2. You never did the Magdaya story. Can you tell us a bit more about it? You can't find a lot of lore on this topic. Wow. That's a sign that we've got some old viewers here. I can't remember the last time someone asked about the lore series. I should bring that back and just AI generate the lot. It's totally possible now. But unfortunately, I wasn't very happy with how the Elder Dragon stories ended, so I'm not too keen on scripting that anymore. Magdaya was one of the 2 swords from Orr. One for Ritlock ended up getting the end, one for Adalburn, one for Rurik, and that video was all going to be about that chapter of the movement of the world, where we see what happens to Ascalon as the faux fire ravages it and the ghosts form, and then the brand later. That's what that video was going to be. And yeah, it's on the little end screen, isn't it? It's on the old thumbnails. That we're going to have old annotations, but annotations are dead now, and they have been for like, what, a decade? Nightfall is based. Yes, Nightfall's very good. Factions is good if you ignore the main story. If you have a high tolerance for shitty voice acting, I think Factions is pretty good as well. The world building in Factions is exquisite as well, if you can find the time to read about it. And the main story doesn't really put it on there. I also think that Factions is really good at the start, at the monastery arc. And I love the classes and stuff, and I love the environments. Nightfall gave you hope, and Eye of the North cemented the goodness. Eye of the North is excellent quality, just a bit short for me. But even Eye of the North is way bigger scope than what we get for Guild Wars 2 expansions. Or feels it. Feels it. Hello, WP. If we have all the expansions, do we need to buy the Reforged? Wow, I'm getting asked that a lot. If you already own anything, you've already got it. What aged especially bad in Prophecies is the haphazardly designed environments, says Fake Chilada. Sorry, I'm scrolling. Oh my god. Fuck, I'm way too high up. Letanier with 500 RSD says, "Hey, I got Factions and Nightfall for free. So here's some money I can give you." Wow, that's amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Don't worry too much about the video. It is reasonable to be a bit realistic. I think Arenanet overhyped it a bit. That's a funny one, isn't it? Did they overhype it? I will say that they certainly gave you the impression that it's more than it is. Mega disagree on the Crystal Desert. That's when I stopped playing. I kept wiping, and it just killed my enthusiasm for Guild Wars 1. Yeah, seriously, Kerry was going to quit the Crystal Desert. If I didn't just put a bunch of strong heroes in, like we did the, what was it? It wasn't the Thirsty River. It was the Elona Reach. We did Elona Reach, and we wiped while collecting one of the crystals, and you could just feel it, you know, when you're on your last legs with the game, and you get a game over, right? This is why MMOs don't have friction in their normal content anymore, because those are moments that people quit. And I could feel it, and I basically said, look, I'm gonna put these strong characters in, and we're just gonna tour this for the story. And in like one day, we did all of this over like 5 or 6 sessions, and then in that one session, we went through everything else. We finished it all, just to get through it. Which crushes me, by the way, because I wanted her to love it, and I wanted to have an excellent experience with Prophecies, and I wanted her to really then feed on that in Janthea Wilds and stuff. She's loving VOE, by the way. She fucking loves vlogs. Oh, speaking of vlogs, there's another good one. All right, what if Reforged has us go to Vlox's Falls? Huh? Right? Or the Vloxen Excavations, which I think you actually see the dungeon entrance up here. Yeah? Wouldn't that be cool? Isn't it December 3rd? Oh shit, I might have got the date wrong, sorry. Final Fantasy 11 is coming out of maintenance mode. I thought it's Guild Wars 1, everyone is starting new. No one's... You start new if you want to. It's only Steam Deck and controller. ... Question mark? What new content for an old player? Nothing. I won't repeat myself. We've covered it. How is it free? How can I play it on Steam Deck if I already own it but not on Steam? Ah, great question. Shit. I think you can. I'm pretty sure they explicitly said, like I don't know. I do own it on Steam. I'm not playing it on Steam right now. This is not Steam. This is the standalone client. Okay, what you're looking at on screen right now. This has nothing to do with Steam. If I do this after December the whatever, right, I will log in and the character select screen will say Guild Wars Reforged. It will say Guild Wars Reforged up there. When I log in, all the UI will be there. The graphics options will be there. The audio will be there. It is one client. It is, for all intents and purposes, an update for Guild Wars 1, slightly bigger than what we would normally have. Because there's UI, you know, it's just so I assume, even if you don't have it on Steam, you can add it. You know, Steam lets you add, like, non-Steam games to the library, don't they? That's just a regular Steam thing. That's a thing that Valve lets you do. You can put Guild Wars into your Steam library. And I assume if you have a Steam Deck, you can just do that. You can just install it. I don't have a Steam Deck. I don't know how it works. But I'm 99% sure you can get the full experience. Not 90%, sorry, 80% sure, sorry. But that's my understanding. Would I ever do an Iron Man playthrough of Guild Wars 1? Maybe. I kind of already did do an Iron Man. I did Iron Man before the community even really came. Sorry, I'm being a proper fucking hipster here. I'm going to make some people roll their eyes, but fuck you, I'm saying it anyway. I did an Iron Man challenge before, like, people even really got into it. My original Let's Play on Prophecies is an Iron Man challenge. It's not a permadeath Iron Man challenge, but it's a solo thing. It kind of disappoints me to actually hear you ask that. But on the same, by the same token, that was a long time ago. Will I ever do another one? Will I ever do one for Nightfall or Factions or whatever? Maybe. I actually really want to do a hardcore PoE 2 playthrough. I'd love to do that. Like, actually get to Act 4 for the first time ever, permadeath. Wouldn't that be sick? That would be a hell of a series. You got into Guild Wars 1 too young. You never understood the mechanics as a non-English native. You still played, but you got behind the economics. And then most of the game felt unobtainable. Still loved it. Yeah, it's quite a challenging game, actually. Like, it's very expensive in terms of platinum to get all of your skills and stuff when you're starting out. WoW Classic hasn't done that, but the Season of Discovery did. It's like an alternate timeline, nothing canon. Oh, there you go. Season of Discovery. Going from the world-spanning adventure topic, the feeling of small incremental growth is really strong in Prophecies. You mean in terms of, like, the mechanics? Yeah, like, you slowly level up, you slowly get new skills. Add AI voices to piss off Redditors. Oh my god, I would love that. What I think is the brilliant thing about that topic is you could do it and people wouldn't be able to detect them a lot of time. A lot of games I play in the evening, like I'm watching Kerry play Digimon at the moment, the new Digimon game, and some of the voice acting is so bad. It's like, is that an AI voice? And we're sitting there saying, no, AI would sound better. This is so stilted and so bad, I actually think it would be more convincing to have used AI. And we will get to that point. We're getting Guild Wars Utopia calling it. I would love that. Stay tuned, everybody. When they fucking reveal Guild Wars Utopia, stay tuned. No content, right? Lol, why is everyone so hyped then? Seems like Arenanet just wants to lure new players in. I mean, I hope I'm not being that doomery about it, but that is kind of a fairly valid reading of the room, I think. I wouldn't say they're luring people. They're being savvy, and I agree with that savviness. Do everything you can. Can we put the AI pitchforks away for 5 minutes, please? Oh, yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. On the internet? I don't know, man. You got to pick your battles, and some of them are just overwhelming. I'm pretty sure WP literally did solo warrior run of Prophecies. That was better than Iron Man. Harder than Iron Man. Yes, but I kind of copped out, actually. I failed, sort of. In the very last act, I had to get Ritualist. I spent days on Thunderhead Keep. If you want to watch some impressive hardcore gaming, check out my coverage of Thunderhead Keep. And after that, it like broke me, and I went to the Fire Island chain with Slash Ritualist. So I was still a warrior, but I had to use Signal Spirits. I've got a cool anecdote about that as well. I tell this story on occasion. You know, guys, I'm speaking to you right now, giving you my L takes, being negative, pissing on your bonfire. Why are you here, WP? Why am I on YouTube? Why is your life what it is right now listening to me? Well, it almost wasn't, because years and years and years ago when I was doing that challenge, Aurora Glade, I had absolutely no strategy for. I was convinced it was impossible. And it was really hard doing that challenge up to Aurora Glade. And I'd done something like 40 videos, and no one was watching yet. I was uploading to like maybe 10 people. I was not getting any comments. I was doing like a lot, and I was like, oh man, you know, I thought, you know, I had come from watching Minecraft videos like David 64 XYT or whatever his account name was, you know, and these people were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and I want to do this, but you know, I'm not expecting hundreds of thousands of views, but can I at least get 100? And I was getting like 10 people, no one was watching, I was getting burnt out. I got to Aurora Glade and I was like, shit, how am I going to do this? Like, I need a party for this. This is impossible. So go watch my Let's Play. I went to Aurora Glade and I went in and I shot the episode, and I thought to myself, I'm going to wipe, and when I wipe, I'm going to quit. I'm just not going to finish this. It's over. I'm going to go do other stuff. And I tell you, I really would have quit. That was it. I was right at the end. But I just tried and it worked. It just fucking worked. And you can hear me. Oh my god! Hi, I'm WoodenPotatoes, and I've got a higher voice at this time. And I did it, and it worked, and the cutscene came on, and oh my god, I can't believe it, everybody, because I had a more British accent at that time. And, you know, it just fucking worked, and I was like, holy shit. And so I stuck with the LP, and slowly built an audience, and then started covering Guild Wars 2, and the rest is history. You know, my life, it would be completely different. Anyway, so yeah. Fuck. Sorry, guys, I'm skipping a shit ton of your comments. I'm sorry to do this. I'm really sorry to do this. Repost them. If I've missed something you desperately want me to see, repost, and I'll see it as a new thing. If not, you're in the dirt. Dabada with $5. Thank you for these donations, guys. Reforged should at least give Menlo, Devonna, Eve, Sin, and Adrian. It's just Aiden, by the way. Hero status. I was hyped, but the more I learn, the more I'm sad. I would like that too. I mean, look, where the fuck were you guys at the 20th anniversary? We talked about all this shit, yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it, that we get key art of Devonna. They did do some new concept art, and they made a new, like, title or whatever. So, you know, do they have plans? Devonna? Is Devonna going to become a hero secretly? Let me see here. Archive. Oh, no. And don't say that out loud. We're alright. Where the fuck is it? Screenshots? Oh, it's because I... Here it is. This is new art of Devonna. Like, why pick Devonna? Because she was leader of Destiny's Edge 1.0? Oh, we have a trade. Oh, an Ombre Ice of Truth? Really? Do you know what? For years, I never took shit off of people. I will take that. Thank you so much. If you're really giving that to me. Oh, yeah! Do you know what? I was doing so much trading in this game to earn money to, like, finance the last of the titles and stuff. Thank you. I will very... I don't have Toolbox on, so I can't, do this. But, so I do... Here's my funds. Because for years, guys, for about 10 years, I just gave all my Ectos away. If you caught me online, I gave my stuff away. Look at this. I traded up my way up to 7 now arm braces, and I have a stack of Ectos. So I got some stuff to fund the adventures in Reforged one day. I was going to do a whole account tour of this. You know, here's all my fast casting shields of all different armor values. Riders on the Storm, Leaf on the Wind, Rolling Stone, Sleep Now in the Fire, Not the Face, and then I think I got 2 in my inventory. I was going to do like a Steam guide and stuff. Yeah, no, I want to believe in a world where they do a ton of shit and like workshop support comes in. Can you guys imagine? Just imagine for a second. Guild Wars Reforged, workshop support. Now that would be, oh, so good. but no confirmation on any of that. Do you think you'll get an option to use the OG graphics? Yes, absolutely. Okay, because all you would have to do to have the OG graphics, right, is there will be probably, they didn't actually show this, right, but there'll be a new drop down for anti-aliasing, right? Just or a checkbox. Just don't click the checkbox for FXAA. And in terms of ambient occlusion, just don't check the checkbox. Like, you asking me, do you think they'll give an option to use the OG graphics? That suggests to me you have a mindset for this product that is completely... You're expecting way too much. There are no new textures, there are no new models, there are no post-processing effects. Way too much. Way. Yeah, just don't tick the box. Devon is in the original Guild Wars 1 trailer, probably why, or possible drop some notes in game about the Balthazar's Herald, maybe. But I like the idea that they sneak in a little quest where you can unlock Devonna, and, you know, maybe that's something that they... Josh Strife Hayes must be real excited for Guild Wars 1 Reforged. Yeah, I honestly, it panics the fuck out of me. So what, you guys are telling me, like, R Gaming has a huge post for Guild Wars 1 and stuff? Oh, but just don't let these people down. Oh, God, can you imagine? Like, people with big audiences, people outside Guild Wars covering this like it's going to be some big fucking thing. As long as the people aren't let down. Awesome. Is the Guild Wars Beyond extra quest included in Reforged? I don't remember whether that requires Eye of the North or not. That's quite specific details. Does anyone know? I think it doesn't require Eye of the North. Oh, we have another trade. A stack of Ecto? Really? Really? Oh, look at how I've changed. You used to be cool, man. You used to not take this shit. Thank you. Thank you. Do you know what? Someone gives me 100 gold in Guild Wars or something, I would reject it out of hand, but I would never even like be that excited about it. But fucking 250 Ecto, yes! I don't know what my goals are anymore, though, because we're done. I don't know. But thank you! That's awesome! Thank you. Okay, but let's not make a big thing of it. That's enough. I won't take any more. Unless there's something obscene. Thank you, but that's I've had enough, guys. Save your Ecto for the new players. Do some giveaways and pre-searing, you know, when Reforged comes out. Yeah, I can't... As for is Beyond included if you don't own Eye of the North, I think it probably is. It takes place in the timeline after Eye of the North, true, but I think you might not need it. Someone in chat wanted to sell their Fiery Dragon Sword. You hope they... Oh, this is Mr. Modius here. A Naga hide. You can keep that. I don't want your stinking Naga hide. Mr. Modius, we'll have a new intro, yes? For the Guild Wars Beyond? So I'm not using the VOE one? No, you don't have to put yourself out to that, because I don't know if I'll do a full series. Oh, shit, no, yeah, most of Beyond was with... Okay... Most of Beyond was Eye of the North with Kieran. No, that was one of the chapters of Beyond called Hearts of the North. It goes War in Kryta, Hearts of the North. And yes, you would definitely need Eye of the North for Hearts of the North. But then the Winds of Change, I don't know that you would need it. First Odyssey, hi WP, don't let any comments get to you too much. I've been watching since the Fall of Ascalon video 13 years ago. Thank you. And I think I'm not alone. So your content and commentary is definitely engaging. Thank you very much. Well, look, that might be all right here with the live video, but we'll see how the other section goes when I spin it off into its own thing. We'll see how that looks. I might get pilloried a little bit in there. But, you know, it comes around, it goes around. I've made a career out of critique. People are welcome to critique me. That's totally fair. I'm expecting some world-breaking event, maybe a time travel situation in the end of VOE, which will ultimately tie Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2, and of course Guild Wars 3, which has been in development since 2019. Look, and again, I cannot say... I know I've said it 3 times, I'm going to say it a 4th. It's excellent to see this, because it's exactly what I've been saying will give people encouragement and enthusiasm and excitement for Guild Wars 3, right? Because it's a sign that they're not going to abandon Guild Wars 2. You're missing a crank to repair the trebuchet. I know, yeah. Can someone comment on how good the Guild Wars 1 storytelling is? Again, I think we've reviewed that a lot here. If you want to hear it from someone else in chat, then go for it. Prophecies, not good. Sorry, it's not good. Factions, also pretty much not good, but a really good setting. Nightfall, pretty good, man. Nightfall's very good. As a standalone product, Nightfall's like, very good. Eye of the North, very little short, but very good. Very high quality with Eye of the North. Just don't get too hung up on the fact it's building up to the Dragon Saga. And you know what? The Guild Wars Beyond stuff's pretty good too. Not as good, though, because you don't get voice-acted cutscenes and stuff. You're a Guild Wars 1 and 2 player, and I'm kind of thinking, do I want to play Guild Wars 1 again? Sadly, the answer is no. Guild Wars 2 is your home. But there's nothing wrong with doing both, all right? There's nothing wrong with dipping in... Like, the way I play Guild Wars 1 is I come in, I'll grind it for a few weeks, and then I'll leave. And then I'll come in and grind it for a few weeks, and then I'll leave, you know? I do now have a problem that's like, go for other Guams or bust, really, because I refuse to get into random arenas and stuff. That's a funny thought, by the way. Wouldn't it be amazing to see the PvP populations come back because of this? I would recommend everyone play Nightfall. I really think everyone should... Nightfall's kind of a tough sell as a first product, though, because the learning curve's really brutal and all the heroes and stuff. But Nightfall is good, and so much of what happens in Nightfall is so often referenced in the Guild Wars 2 storylines that I think is really well worth it. I'm a bit of a Nightfall fanboy. There's nothing wrong with doing both, except having a real life as well. Well, no, though. No, because Guild Wars 1 isn't structured like a live service game. It's not juggling 2-3 MMOs. Playing Guild Wars, you know, if you can stop to play Stardew Valley or, you know, like we all play other games, don't we? I mean, Jesus, I'm a fucking Guild Wars 2 no-lifer and I play other games, all right? You can just play... There's no requirement that Guild Wars 1 vacuums your life away and that you have to spend thousands of hours in it. You can spend about 20 hours and beat Prophecy and you're done with it. Just treat it like a normal game. It just happens to be co-op and online. There's nothing wrong with treating Guild Wars 1 that way. How do you think they'll handle the botting issues? I'm super curious about how the launch will deal with it. Well, that's been the domain of SCW for years now, hasn't it? We saw the bots got, as far as I understood, the bots got nuked in PvP recently, which has spiked the price of Z keys. So yeah, actually one title I could still go for is Z keys, but I can't justify the insane markup that's on them now when everyone else got it really cheaply over the last few years. So, but the botting is a very real thing. They've been very lenient on tools like Toolbox, but I think they've also been very lenient on RMT. And I don't think they should be, especially with Reforged. So if you have been in Guild Wars 1 engaging in RMT, if I were you, I'd be more scared of the Reforged announcement than anyone else, than anything else. So, yeah, I would expect them to start cracking that shit down. No, not really. Guild Wars 2 really does take a lot of your time. Really? So you play Guild Wars 2 exclusively? You play... That's quite incredible. I mean, I would say I mean, it's easier for me, though. It certainly is with this job. All right, I don't have a normal perspective, and I need to remember that. That's a good point. You're disappointed this is not a fresh server like WoW Classic. Fresh start everyone in professions for year, then move on to factions, etc. Fresh economy. No one has stacks and stacks of Echoes. Yes! Yes, Ilan Flame. Oh, I agree! I'm going to thumb that up. Can I do that? Is that a feature of YouTube chat? No. That's kind of... I would have liked the fresh restart, right? But it would have required a lot more because presumably people would then want to integrate into the old game and stuff. You pretty much just play Guild Wars 2 and Pokemon. What would I think about Guild Wars 1 hardcore servers? I don't actually think it's a good game for hardcore. I think desperate content creators with nothing else to do have tried to spin up hardcore ideas, but the game itself is not actually, like, very functional for it. And I include myself as one of those desperate content creators. I may have been a bit before the pack, but I don't think it's not an ARPG. If you want to play a hardcore game like that, you know, play a game built for it. All right, I think that to a certain extent it is fitting a square peg into a round hole. So yeah, come play PoE2 with me. We have a Spud Club in there. We have a channel in the Discord. I haven't looked at it for ages. Mom, I'm going pro. Put me in the screen cap. This is quite cool seeing everyone crowded around. In 2,000 hours when you get bored of Guild Wars 2. But I will never get bored of Guild Wars 2 because they're always supporting Guild Wars 2. They're releasing expansions for Guild Wars 2. They're always doing things with Guild Wars 2. That's what I want for Guild Wars 1. And so that's why I want a lot more than a lukewarm, we will do updates. I want, yeah, we're leaving maintenance mode. Discover the mysteries of Zin and the Seers in an untold chapter. Witness the rise of Palawa Joko. Return to prophecies from a fresh start with all of your friends. Join your Guild Wars 2 guild with your Guild Wars 1 guild. A new balance initiative is coming. New items are dropping. You know? Skill balance. That's what I want. I feel like I'm talking in circles. Guys, we're about 2 hours in here. And it's late at night. I was raiding, sorry. It was a bit brutal today. I was raiding in Mount Barrier, just thinking, fuck, I really want to do this video. We picked, like, the worst day. It was just an accident, but whatever. So, listen, everybody, get some final comments in here, and then I'm going to wrap the video up. I think 2 hours of discussion is enough. And what I'm going to say as well is, can you please, I'm going to spin up the full video. Can you drop questions and comments and, you know, just fill up that comment section with how you feel? Because I feel like we've got a lot of rational, well-informed opinions here. Everybody's like got full context going on. And I would really like some of that commentary in the comments of the main video. And what I will do is a community, like the floor episode. I'll highlight a bunch of your messages in a dedicated Q&A in a couple of days. Wouldn't that be fun? So anything you feel like I haven't covered here, let's just give me your takes. Oh, a birthday cupcake. Thank you. I'll eat the cupcake. Cupcakes are always good. Thank you. Look at this clean fucking inventory, by the way. Look at that. Look how clean that is. So good. Bring back the Guild Wars companion tablet. Wait, well, that was a Guild Wars 2 thing, wasn't it, really? You learned today there's a place called Mabon in Caledon Forest. Yeah, there is, and there was a side quest in Secret of the Obscure about how he went there. It is literally named after him. You need more tangents. It gives you energy. We weren't too bad with tangents today. I mean, as a Guild Wars 2 veteran from launch who's never played Guild Wars 1, this is exactly what you've been waiting for. A discount, updated UI, very excited. The UI update is only relevant if you're playing on Steam Deck. And there are very regular Guild Wars sales. There have been for years and years and years. So you know, weren't there epic fucking sales at the 20th anniversary? There were, weren't there? There were crazy sales, not just on the base games, but all the bank tabs and shit. Right? They did a huge sale. I bought every single bank tab. And these are all mods that I was flipping, by the way. Buying rares, flipping them for aptitude, not attitudes, and forget-me-nots. Forget-me-nots are the big ones. Trying to make my money back. And progressing wisdom while I was doing it. There were so many sales at the 20th anniversary. But what? Because they didn't call it Reforged? Imagine the fun of answering irrational questions. Well, that might be fun as well. I don't know. I'm just a bit flinchy, aren't I? We'll see. We'll see what people say. When they mention the next Guild Wars 2 expansion, or will they? Well, yeah, I think a lot of us were expecting a big announcement, but I think we were all thinking it was going to be the next mini X-Pack. What a time to be alive, right, guys? Guild Wars Reforged and the next mini X-Pack together. That would be so cool. But we haven't had that yet, so fingers crossed. Oh, and yeah, I'm going to be very honest. I talked a lot. If you watch my Visions of Eternity Let's Play, watch my episode from yesterday and the day before. I talked a lot about Steam and about Valve hardware. And the whole time I knew this was a thing. And I was kind of... we were talking about, oh, should they support Guild Wars 1 and so on and so on and so on. And to a big degree, that is what this is. And so I'm happy. I am happy that they've done something. It's not the same because the sales didn't have new cover art or a new name. They didn't have the new name. That Devona concept art wasn't there yet. But look, I think there's some power in getting everyone in at once. And if it's a bit duplicitous, the reason why we're all getting in at the same time, does it really matter? Do we have to wring our hands about that? And I say, in reality, no, we don't. I'll take the population spike, though I believe it will be temporary. Hopefully it's high enough that they follow this up with some content news. And I want to leave you guys with that thought. I will be here for content news when they do it. Yeah, and it is funny they went with the name Reforged after Warcraft 3 Reforged. Okay, there you go, guys. That's my take. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for being so generous. We've had a couple of donations here. You guys are very, very kind. All these lovely people here in chat. It's fun to play Guild Wars 1. It is. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Long thoughts, walls of text, whatever you want. Don't put them in the comments of this. Put them in the comments of the other video. And respond to each other as well, you know, if you like. Studio update coming up in December? Yeah. So in the studio update, if they say, oh my god, Reforged was huge, let's do it. That'd be good. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you for more fun stuff next time. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for that arm brace and the ectos. That was really nice. Thank you.